Huh? I know, but you have something in it's going on over here in Boca where it's going crazy here. They're building this huge shul, and all the houses around here are being bought up by young people. If they would have built condominiums, they'd be there too, and they have them around. But all right, let's go over to. Okay, I'm really a little slow today. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right, so let's. Where did we stop yesterday? So we went through this through Yafta Shah, trying to make sense out of the Yafta Shah. And I know we're going to see it more and more over again, so we'll see how his thinking goes. Now we're on the Bir Shalazover Chai. That's where we're at now. Let me bring my camera down a little bit lower. So it says like this. He says, Bir Shalazover Chai Khan. He says, Al Milui. So Al Milois, he calls them Milos. Yud Yud. So Milos is like the words Yud Yud. Bas Rosh Shinta the Satah. So it's the Yud Yud, it's at the end, it refers to the lower Shchina. So this is all of our subject here. So he says, the base Yudin who sowed Kinesis Atarot B'Yisod Shehem B'Yisoda. That his Atara goes into her Yisod Shehem base Yudin. So you have the two Yisodos. V'Omer Od, so that to me is a nice answer. Anyway. He Yud Tachtona, he Shorish HaShchina HaTachtona. Ki he Nekuda HaBenimis should be Yisoda Ein Sham. So this is Nekuda Sion. Levi's there beer. So that, in other words, that I would say for the Tipa is the target. Where we just had that thing that we looked in the Rishash, and it moves from Chitzonius to Panemius to Chitzonius. And that's the target place. I think that was the explanation. That's where I got that idea. I don't know. So the fee is of the beer bizarre chais, and now it says like that. Now you got that? He says, think of this. Sham, the Hemshech Maimer, as he goes on, and he says like Kama de Heish Hinta Ishtakach should be a soda. So he says this. Okay, anyway, how you find the hay in her Shrinta Ishtakach, it refers to the Shrinta should be Yisod, the Nimsa Os hay, the Shrina Bezel the Shono. So he says in the Yisod, you also find this hay, I guess what he says. And Bavur Sham, so he says, explains over there. He said, Drosha now, he says, Ki Oz Nishlam Shem Kavaya Be'ez Kinesis Atara the Nekudat Sion. So he wants to say that the hay is that you find the hay there, and his words are Ki Oz Nishlam Shem Yud Kay Vav K with the hay when. That's preliminary to that is the two Yuds meeting up, which represents the tips, or I guess of the Yisodos of the male and the female. Kanisa Satara L'Nekuda Sion. There's a word Sion again. When that happens, that is the result that is sought. So we see that in the Shina we understand is in a hay. Because that's the place it develops. I guess yes, he's saying it develops out of the meeting of the two Yisodos, Hisham Nekuda Sion. Nishlam hay, and it completes the hay achrona. That's what he says. So what you're seeing is the yud yud is the concept of a preliminary to the creation of the hay, which takes place as a result of the yichud of the two yisodos. So now we're up on the top, and he says Rei bebir hamushula the pial piha grosh and his boyer inyan yud basra over there. Explains the Indian of the final Yud, and the phase that goes along with it was the Shechinta Tata, Kamba the Shechinta Ishtakach, just like you find the same thing with the hay. You find this too. The Haina Kamot Shematzina Bekal Mamakom, where we always find a Shechina Hanukva nirmezes besod os he achrona shel shem havaya. No. Gam came kan nirmezes hashkina besod os yud achrona shel siruf Yud Kay Vav Yud. So I didn't really see any big chiddush in the Gra at this point. You're just translating. That's what it sounds to me like. Okay, now we're getting into a new place, and this is Obachad Maskala Iskalo. So what this means is that they balance each other completely out. So I would like, if you don't mind, to go back to where we were, so we could try to pick up the flow of the Zohar. Let me just get this straightened out a little bit here, and figure out where we were. We're on, let's see, page Kuf Mem Hey, the Zohar itself. So then after we come out, I don't know, maybe we should read the whole thing. Yeah. Let's go back to Kuf Mem Gimel and just try to get it in sequence. So it says, V'yomer Elokim Yehi Or V'Yehi Or. So these different kinds of Yehis here, and then it has another Yehi Or. But with the Vav this time. Then it says, Haina Dechsiv, that's what it means. Ki hu Omar, he spoke V'Yehi, and it came to be, but it says V'Yehi. Hu B'Luchadui, so it's by itself. A Levasar, so it means that these two parts, I guess he means Zachar V'Nuk there, are separated, and the V'Asar is Chaz V'Chad, but then they come back to be oneness. And here's some different ideas on that. And then it shows you this formula, I guess I would say it's Yako and Yud, and then it's just Yako, and, I don't know why we have a Yud in parenthesis. I don't think it ever got there exactly. And then you have that other part, which is possibly a Vav Yud, and another Vav not explained, and then the final Yud Basra. He says it refers to the Shchinta, the Sata, Kama Dehe Shchinta Ishtakach. So, this very Kama Dehe Ishtakach, I like that last explanation. Who was that? We'll see in a minute. That explanation of the pairing of the two Yesodos. So he said the Hey, and it develops the Hey. Uvachad Maskala Iskalo. So this is the place we're at right now. He says that he's talking about the final Yud actually is the same thing as the final Hey. So let's see what we could do with this. And we're on number Hey. So he says, a Messiah Pacific is news Sham Uvuchad Maskala Askalo, Biarna Bebir Hamashulav, so explain over there. The Hain the Shachakol Cholok Bemishko Echa Vederek Echad. This is just a repetition of the same idea. I don't know whether we got something special here. Vizela Pia Groakan. So, well, of course, that's what the Gura just said. Ein Sham V'Navera Bezecha V'Od Biurim, but besides that, just the simple statement that they're the same thing, we have Biurim. So he said, look at the Or Yakar, he said, V'Sham, B'Firusha Rishon, Shabir Kan Lefi Darko, and now he says like this, the Oz Hey Shal Malchus, he Kedugmas Oz Yud Shal Chachma Ein Sham. No, that the Hey is similar to the Yud that came from Chachma. Why? How's that? But the Fizech of the Bir Bezel Lashon B'Pachad Maskal is Kalo. So he says, so that's what he says. He says they're the same. Why? Because the let's Yertzaloma, that what he wants to say is like this: Shnei midos the Chachma u'Malchus. So these are two different midos. Nishkala b'mishka echad. They really balance them out. What would you say? They're equivalent. So therefore we say that as a result of that they have, let's say, the same value, or the same quality. They're whatever it is. They're shorish echad. So therefore we describe it as a yud. Which was no problem for us to say the Chochma is a Yud. Malchus besod Os Hey, and then this way Malchus is also Os Hey. He Shekula Nimdedes b'midas habina. So let's hear this now. When it's in the hay, then she's balanced, or she's considered to be balancing the nimdedes and measured b'midas habina, with the measurement of bina, v'doim b'chalecha b'midas hay, and similar to it in the hay. Now, I'll just throw in an explanation of what I think he said, or we could read it again. Let's read it again. Let's go where it says v'zel l'shono. He said, "Bahad maskala iskalo. Yirtzalom shtei midus dehaina chachma o malchus. Nishkala b'mishkal echad." So they're equivalent. V'lekach mitziyus shala malchus hibesod os yud. So since they're equivalent, so we could say that we could interchange that hay that we're normally working with to a yud. K'motza k'mitziyus a chachma. Now, I didn't see any reason, any more detailed reason of that, but he says that they're balanced, or they're equivalent. V'kach hamalchus besod os hay. So, but then why is it that is in the form of an os hay and not a yud? Why we normally say that? Because it's shekula b'dedes b'midas habina, but because actually, I don't know what does it mean shekula. It's equivalent, but then he has the word v'nimdedes. And it's measured by the measurement of bina. And it's similar like to the mida of hay. Okay, I think we still have a little bit more time. So let's see that Metz Hashem is coming back. Because I could be wrong. So I guess that's the shir for today. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Kolal.